Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Varsa Williams and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the evening news. The headlines. Government reduces excise duty on diesel by 10 rupees and petrol by 5 rupees. WHO grants emergency use approval to Bharat Biotech's Covaxin vaccine for COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on adopting innovative ways and micro-strategies to increase COVID vaccination, says vaccination drive needs to be taken door to door. India conducts successful flight tests of indigenously developed smart anti-airfield weapon. Centre releases GST compensation of 17,000 crore rupees to states and union territories. Ayodhya creates Guinness World Record with the lighting of 12 lakh diyas. President and Vice President greet people on the eve of Diwali. In Boxing World Championships, Akash Kumar to take on Mahmoud Sabir Khan of Kazakhstan in men's semi-final in Belgrade tomorrow. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, match between India and Afghanistan underway in Abu Dhabi. In the first match of the day, New Zealand beat Scotland by 16 runs in Dubai. As India created history by administering 100 crore doses of vaccine against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. The government has taken a significant decision of reducing central excise duty on petrol by 5 rupees and diesel by 10 rupees from tomorrow. Finance Ministry said the prices of petrol and diesel will come down accordingly. The reduction in excise duty on diesel will be double that of petrol. The ministry said the farmers have kept the economic growth momentum going even during the lockdown phase through their hard work. It said the massive reduction in excise on diesel will come as a boost to the farmers during the upcoming Rabi season. In recent months, crude oil prices have witnessed a global upsurge. Consequently, domestic prices of petrol and diesel had increased in recent weeks, exerting inflationary pressure. Finance Ministry said the world has also seen shortages and increased prices of all forms of energy. It said the government has made efforts to ensure that there is no energy shortage in the country. The ministry said the reduction in excise duty on petrol and diesel will also boost consumption and keep inflation low, thus helping the poor and middle classes. It said today's decision is expected to further spur the overall economic cycle. The ministry has also urged states to commensurately reduce VAT on petrol and diesel to give relief to consumers. The World Health Organization WHO today granted approval for emergency use listing EUL to Bharat Biotech's Covaxin vaccine for COVID-19. At the G20 summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi pushed for WHO nod for Covaxin, saying India will produce 5 billion COVID vaccine doses by 2022. The Technical Advisory Group of WHO, which met today, has recommended the emergency use listing status for Covaxin. The World Health Organization's panel had last week sought additional clarifications from the Hyderabad-based firm. Covaxin was also reviewed by WHO's Strategic Advisory Group of experts on immunization and recommended use of this vaccine in 2 doses with a dose of interval of 4 weeks in all age groups of 18 and above. The WHO said in a series of tweets that Covaxin EUL expands the availability of the most effective medical tools to end COVID-19. Covaxin is one of the 6 vaccines that have received emergency use authorization from Drugs Controller General of India and is being used in the nationwide inoculation program along with Covishield and Sputnik V. WHO Southeast Asia Regional Director Dr. Poonam Khetrapal Singh in a tweet congratulated India for Covaxin's listing for emergency use. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu expressed happiness that the country's indigenous vaccine has been approved by WHO for emergency use. Mr. Naidu congratulated Bharat Biotech, ICMR and all others associated with the development of the vaccine. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia hailed the decision.
आज आत्मनिर्भर भारत का संकल्प सिद्ध हुआ है। भारत के वैज्ञानिकों के द्वारा निर्मित संशोधित कोवैक्सीन को WHO ने आज अप्रूवल दिया है। इसलिए मैं भारत के हमारे ICMR के साइंटिस्ट, भारत बायोटेक के वैज्ञानिक साइंटिस्ट और भारत बायोटेक कंपनी को मैं हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं।
Bharat Biotech Chairman and Managing Director Dr. Krishna Ella said, the validation by WHO is a very significant step towards ensuring global access to India's widely administered, safe and efficacious Covaxin. He said it will facilitate countries to expedite their regulatory approval processes to introduce and administer India's indigenously made COVID-19 vaccine developed and manufactured by Bharat Biotech. After getting a nod from the WHO in a statement in Hyderabad, Dr. Krishna Ella said, it will also enable the procurement by UNICEF, Pan American Health Organization and the Gavi COVAX facility for distribution to the countries in need. He further said, as an organization, they have focused on maintaining stringent quality and safety standards that meet rigorous assessment and scientific standards established by WHO. Covaxin is a whole virion inactivated vaccine against SARS-CoV-2 developed in partnership with ICMR and NIV, Pune. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed on the need to adopt innovative ways to increase vaccination in districts with low COVID vaccination coverage. The Prime Minister said this during a review meeting today with districts having low vaccination coverage through video conferencing. During the interaction, the Prime Minister discussed the issue of vaccine hesitancy and local factors behind it. Mr. Modi said the better performing districts also had similar challenges, but they dealt with them with determination and innovation. He asked officials to develop micro-strategies, keeping in mind the previous experiences to deal with the saturation of vaccination and address the gaps at the local level.
और एक अननोन एनिमी से कैसे लड़ा जा सकता है, ये हमारे छोटे छोटे आशा वर्कर ने भी सीख लिया है। अब आपके माइक्रो स्ट्रेटेजी बताते हुए आगे चलना है। अब हम राज्य का हिसाब, जिले का हिसाब उसको भूल जाए। हम हर गांव में भी मोहल्ला, उसमें भी वो 4 घर बाकी रह गए तो 4 घर, बारीकी की तरह हम जितना जाएंगे हम परिणाम प्राप्त करेंगे। और जहां कहीं भी जो भी कमियां हैं उसे जल्द से जल्द दूर करके ही रहना है। जैसा अभी आपसे बातचीत में मैं स्पेशल कैंप लगाने की बात उठी, ये विचार मैं समझता हूं बहुत अच्छा है। अपने जिलों में एक एक गांव, कस्बे, इसके लिए अगर अलग अलग रणनीति बनानी हो, आपसे 20-25 लोगों की टीम बनाकर भी ऐसा कर सकते हैं। जो टीमें आप बनाए हो उनमें एक हेल्दी कंपटीशन हो।
The Prime Minister asked officials to change gears from making arrangements to take people to the vaccination centres and door-to-door vaccination. He said the government is focusing on door-to-door vaccination, Har Ghar Dastak, to achieve 100% vaccination.
सबसे बड़ी महामारी में देश ने अनेक चुनौतियों का सामना किया है। कोरोना से देश की लड़ाई में एक खास बात ये रही कि हमने नए नए समाधान खोजे, इनोवेटिव तरीके आजमाए और हर इलाके में लोगों ने अपने दिमाग से नई नई चीजें की है। आपको भी अपने अपने जिलों में वैक्सीनेशन बढ़ाने के लिए नए नए इनोवेटिव तरीके पर और ज्यादा काम करना ही होगा। नया तरीका, नया उत्साह, नई टेक्निक, ये इसमें जान भरती रहेगी।
The Prime Minister said districts having less than 50% of coverage and low coverage of the second dose should give special focus on awareness. He also stressed on connecting religious leaders in the awareness drive. Mr. Modi said the states can also take the help of NCC and NSS cadets during the vaccination drive. The meeting included districts with less than 50% coverage of the first dose and low coverage of the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine. Mr. Modi interacted with district magistrates of over 40 districts from Jharkhand, Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Maharashtra, Meghalaya and other states. Chief ministers of the states also attended the review meeting.
India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 107 crore 59 lakh today. Out of the total vaccination, more than 73 crore 74 lakh vaccine doses have been given as the first dose, while over 33 crore 84 lakh doses have been administered as the second dose. Union Health Ministry said more than 27 lakh vaccine doses were administered today. As part of the nationwide drive, the centre has been supporting the states and union territories by providing them COVID vaccines free of cost.
The Defence Research and Development Organisation (DRDO) and the Indian Air Force today jointly conducted 2 flight tests of an indigenously developed smart anti-airfield weapon in Rajasthan's Jaisalmer. 2 different configurations of the weapon based on satellite navigation and electro-optical sensors were successfully tested today. The Defence Ministry said electro-optical seeker-based flight test of this class of bomb has been conducted for the first time in the country. The electro-optical sensor has been developed indigenously. The system is designed for a maximum range of 100 kilometers. The weapon was launched by an IAF aircraft from Chandan Ranges at Jaisalmer, Rajasthan on 28th of October and today. Electro-optical configuration of the system is equipped with imaging infrared or IIR seeker technology, enhancing the precision strike capability of the weapon. In both the tests, the intended target was hit with high accuracy. The newly adapted launcher ensured smooth release and ejection of the weapon. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Government reduces excise duty on diesel by 10 rupees and petrol by 5 rupees. WHO grants emergency use approval to Bharat Biotech's Covaxin vaccine for COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on adopting innovative ways and micro-strategies to increase COVID vaccination. Says vaccination drive needs to be taken door to door. India conducts successful flight tests of indigenously developed smart anti-airfield weapon. Centre releases GST compensation of 17,000 crore rupees to states and union territories. Ayodhya creates Guinness World Record with lighting of 12 lakh diyas. President and Vice President greet people on the eve of Diwali. And in World Boxing Championships, Akash Kumar to take on Mahmoud Sabir Khan of Kazakhstan in men's semi-final in Belgrade tomorrow. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, match between India and Afghanistan underway in Abu Dhabi. In the first match of the day, New Zealand beat Scotland by 16 runs in Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में बृहस्पतिवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सेनानियों की वीर गाथा।
Welcome back to the evening news. The centre has released 17,000 crore rupees as GST compensation to states and union territories. The Finance Ministry said the total amount of compensation released to the states and UTs so far during the current financial year is 60,000 crore rupees. As per the decision of the GST Council, back-to-back loan of 1,59,000 crore rupees has already been released in lieu of shortfall in release of GST compensation during the current financial year. The Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT, has issued refunds of over 1,12,000 crore rupees to more than 91 lakh taxpayers between the 1st of April to the 1st of November this year. In a tweet, Income Tax India said the refunds of 33,548 crore rupees have been issued in over 89,53,000 cases, and corporate tax refunds of 78,942 crore rupees have been issued in over 1,75,000 cases. Consumer Affairs Ministry has said the centre's efforts to ease onion prices is now bearing results. It said the prices of onion are now cheaper than last year, and all India retail price of onion is around 40 rupees per kilogram. The ministry said onion prices had started rising from the first week of October this year due to rains that disrupted the supply chain. It said in order to cool down prices, the Department of Consumer Affairs has taken up calibrated and targeted release of onions from the buffer. The ministry said a total of over 111,000 tons of onion has been released till yesterday in major markets including Delhi, Kolkata, Lucknow, Patna, Ranchi, Guwahati, Bhubaneswar, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai and Mumbai.
Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister Mansukh Mandavia has said that there will be more than adequate supply of crop nutrients, including urea and DAP. In a statement, the minister said he reviewed the availability of fertilizers for the month of November with the officials. The minister said while the demand for urea is 41 lakh metric tons, 76 lakh metric tons of urea will be made available. Ayodhya today created a Guinness World Record with lighting of 12 lakh diyas during Deepotsav in Ayodhya this evening. Deepotsav is being held for the 5th consecutive year and the scale has increased with each celebration. 9 lakh earthen lamps or diyas have been lit around the Ram Ki Pauri and other ghats, while 3 lakh earthen lamps have been lit in different parts of the city. Union Minister for Culture and Tourism, G. Kishan Reddy, took part in the Deepotsav along with Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. On this occasion, the Chief Minister said that Deepotsav has become a special event with the blessings of the general public, public representatives, saints and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also launched 57 development projects worth around 678 crore rupees for Ayodhya today. Our correspondent reports that the whole city is illuminated.
Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram.
Thousands of devotees, general public and dignitaries are witnessing the spectacular events of Deepotsav in which lakhs of diyas are illuminated on the bank of river Saryu at Ram Ki Pauri in Ayodhya. 32 other ghats in Ayodhya are also being illuminated with earthen diyas. The Ayodhya administration and Uttar Pradesh Tourism Department have mobilized 12,000 volunteers for the task of lighting earthen diyas. Earlier in the day, the Ram Katha Yatra started from Saket Degree College in Ayodhya and the Yatra along with different based on the stories of Ramayana culminated at Ram Katha Park where rituals of Aarti was performed by Chief Minister for artists playing role of Lord Rama, Lakshman and Sita. Dilip Shukla, AIR News, Ayodhya.
Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram.
President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu have greeted countrymen on the eve of Diwali. The President said in his message that Diwali festival symbolizes victory of good over evil and light over darkness. Mr. Kovind said this festival is largely celebrated by people following different beliefs across various sections of society. He said Deepavali gives the message of mutual affection, fraternity and brotherhood. He said it is an occasion to share our prosperity and happiness with each other. The President has called upon everyone to celebrate Deepavali together in a clean and safe manner and resolve to contribute in conservation and protection of the environment. The Vice President said this festival brings light, harmony, prosperity and peace into our lives. Mr. Naidu hoped that this festival ushers in a new enthusiasm to make our lives more fulfilling and bring happiness to everyone around us. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this valiant struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember the great but unsung freedom fighter, Sagar Malgopa, who was born on 3rd of November 1900 in the princely state of Jaisalmer, Rajasthan. Sagarmal was the leader of the band Prajamandal and inspired the people of Jaisalmer and adjoining areas to participate in the freedom struggle. Sagarmal was also a part of Gandhiji's non-cooperation movement in 1921 and called on people of Jaisalmer to participate in the movement.
Sagarmal's father, Akhyaraj, used to work in the court of Maharaval Jawahar Singh, the then ruler of Jaisalmer. During his youth, he noticed the indifferent attitude shown by his home state towards the freedom movement in British India. This troubled him greatly, and within him, slowly, grew a flame of passion for revolt. Jawahar Singh had prohibited the printing and reading of journals in the princely state.
Defying the Maharaja, Sagarmal recorded the atrocities of Jawahar Singh in his book Jaisalmer Ka Gunda Raj and motivated the public to join the cause of freedom by publishing numerous books.
Sagarmal fiercely opposed the anti-people policies of the ruler of Jaisalmer state, due to which the princely states of Jaisalmer and Hyderabad restricted his entry into their domains.
Sagarmal migrated with his family to Nagpur, but when Akhyaraj died, Sagarmal returned to Jaisalmer to perform last rites of his father on 25th May 1941. Immediately, he was arrested on charges of treason and sentenced to rigorous imprisonment of 6 years. He was tortured in prison for years, and it is alleged that he was burned alive in prison. He died on 4th April 1946.
In 1986, the Government of India issued a postage stamp in Sagarmal Gopa's honour. India is forever indebted to the selfless service and sacrifice of freedom fighters like him.
Today, we also remember freedom fighter and social activist Annapurna Maharana on her birth anniversary. She was born to Odisha's noted freedom fighters Rama Devi and Gopabandhu Chaudhary on 3rd November 1917. Annapurna joined the freedom struggle at an early age of only 14 years. She was an avid Gandhian and accompanied Gandhiji in his historic Harijan Padayatra from Puri to Bhadrak in 1934.
Annapurna organized the Shanti Sena and Maran Sena in the Bari area soon after the arrest and imprisonment of all well-known national leaders in the wake of the Quit India movement of 1942. She staged a protest along with a large number of villagers in September 1942 at Kalamatia in Cuttack district, where 4 persons were killed by police firing and several others were injured.
She protested against the imposition of punitive taxes at Bari and 3 other villages in the aftermath of Kalamatia firing. She was detained in the Cuttack jail for 2 years and was arrested and jailed again for 4 months for violating an externment order in 1944.
After independence, Annapurna spent her time in social service and worked for the empowerment of women and children. She also participated in the Bhudan movement of Acharya Vinoba Bhave. She set up a school in Rayagarh district for tribal children. Annapurna Maharana passed away on the 31st of December 2012 at a home in Cuttack, Odisha. We salute the spirit and love for the nation of this great freedom fighter.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In some more news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Kedarnath in Uttarakhand on Friday. He will offer prayers at the Kedarnath temple and inaugurate Sri Adi Shankaracharya Samadhi and unveil the statue of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. The Samadhi has been reconstructed after the destruction of the 2013 floods. The entire reconstruction work has been undertaken under the guidance of the Prime Minister, who has constantly reviewed and monitored the progress of the project. Mr. Modi will also review and inspect the executed and ongoing works along the Saraswati Astha Path.
देश भर के 4 धाम यात्रा पर आने वाले लोग जिन्हें पता है हमने 12,000 करोड़ के 4 धाम को जोड़ने वाले नए रोड बनाने का काम आरंभ कर दिया है। आधुनिक कनेक्टिविटी की व्यवस्था आरंभ कर दी है। अब ये केदार धाम इस प्रकार से बनेगा, फिर एक बार झाझरमान मेरा केदारनाथ बनेगा, भव्य होगा, दिव्य होगा। ये 125 करोड़ देशवासियों की श्रद्धा का केंद्र बन रहा है। जो 125 करोड़ देशवासियों का सपना है उनको पूरा करने के लिए काम कर रही है। काम उत्तराखंड की धरती पे हो रहा है, लेकिन काम हिंदुस्तान के जन जन के लिए हो रहा है। भोले बाबा को वंदन करता हूँ।
The News Services Division of All India Radio on the occasion of Diwali will bring a special program, Aao Manaye Surakshit or Green Diwali. This special program can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This will also be available on our website newsonair.gov.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
In boxing, debutant Akash Kumar stormed into the semi-finals after stunning Rio Olympic silver medalist Yoel Finol of Venezuela to confirm India's first medal at AIBA Men's World Championships in Belgrade, Serbia yesterday. Akash will take on Mahmoud Sabir Khan of Kazakhstan in the semi-final tomorrow. In the ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup, India were 144 for 1 in 15.4 overs against Afghanistan in Abu Dhabi when reports last came in. Early Afghanistan won the toss and elected to field. In another match of the tournament today, New Zealand defeated Scotland by 16 runs in Dubai. Put into bat first, New Zealand scored 172 runs for 5 wickets. But Scotland could make only 156 for 5 in the stipulated 20 overs. Last night, Pakistan beat Namibia by 45 runs in Abu Dhabi to become the first team to reach the semi-finals.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky. Temperatures will vary between 17 and 28 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 24 and 35 degrees Celsius. Chennai is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky. The city will observe a minimum temperature of 21 and a maximum of around 30 degrees Celsius. Hyderabad will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 20 and 29 degrees Celsius. Thiruvananthapuram will have a generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. The temperature will hover between 23 and 30 degrees Celsius. Guwahati, Imphal and Agartala will have fog in the morning and mainly clear sky later. In Guwahati, minimum and maximum temperature will be around 17 and 30 degrees Celsius. Imphal will have a minimum temperature of 16 and a maximum of around 28 degrees Celsius. Shillong will witness a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 10 and 20 degrees Celsius. Aizawl, Kohima and Itanagar will have a mainly clear sky, and Gangtok will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between 11 and 18 degrees Celsius.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government reduces excise duty on diesel by 10 rupees and petrol by 5 rupees. WHO grants emergency use approval to Bharat Biotech's Covaxin vaccine for COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on adopting innovative ways and micro-strategies to increase COVID vaccination, says vaccination drive needs to be taken door to door. India conducts successful flight tests of indigenously developed smart anti-airfield weapon. Centre releases GST compensation of 17,000 crore rupees to states and union territories. Ayodhya creates Guinness World Record with the lighting of 12 lakh diyas. President and Vice President greet people on the eve of Diwali. In boxing World Championships, Akash Kumar to take on Mahmoud Sabir Khan of Kazakhstan in men's semi-final in Belgrade tomorrow. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, match between India and Afghanistan underway in Abu Dhabi. In the first match of the day, New Zealand beat Scotland by 16 runs in Dubai. For details of these stories and more, Log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.